Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Watchmen episode 4 video. There were a whole bunch of crazy WTF moments, so we'll break it all down. There's also a lot of stuff that's happening this week, so a couple announcements at the end of the video too. We're doing a new HBO Now giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your best theory about where Ozymandias is that he's trying to escape from. So careful for spoilers if you have not seen the episode. But top 10 WTF and Easter eggs as we go along. There were a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of really crazy moments. But starting with number 10, the new intro. Sometimes you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. There were many different references to eggs throughout the episode in a bunch of the different storylines, but I think part of the metaphor of the cracking egg title is also that secrets are starting to get out. Like Will references at the end of the episode, in 3 days, Angela will learn what I've been keeping from her, this big secret that I have. When they said 3 more days, I don't know if that means 3 more episodes, if the episodes will move in real time, or if that'll be the finale that they're referring to. But then there was that person selling the organic eggs on the roadside in Oklahoma reading the book Fog Dancing. If you're a big fan of the Watchmen series, this is actually a super deep cut. Fog Dancing was actually a book that was written by someone called Max Shea, who's the character that within the world of the Watchmen series wrote the Tales of the Black Freighter comic book. But it also relates to all the weird stuff that Ozymandias was doing this week, hatching and microwaving the babies into brand new clones to serve him. Within the world of the Watchmen, this writer, Max Shea, who wrote that Fog Dancing book, also disappeared with a bunch of other creatives and wound up on an island owned by Ozymandias. He was using it in secret to clone a bunch of alien squid babies to test what would eventually be the alien squid that he bombed New York City with. So they're using a lot of these Easter eggs in the different storylines to tie everything together and give you more clues about what's really going on. While this is all going on too, they play that song Islands in the Stream, which is also a reference to the island that the Max Shea, the writer of Fog Dancing, was transported to. That's just a metaphor that Ozymandias is stuck on an island, so to speak, but not a literal island, just a metaphorical one, because they have the transition later in the episode that makes it seem like he's stuck on the moon. But then number 9, knock on the door, welcome Lady Trio, one of the most mysterious figures of the series so far, but we haven't met till this episode. She's the mysterious trillionaire, we learned, that's building the Millennium Clock and that bought Ozymandias' company when he went into exile. Like he said, he's been stuck in this place for the last 4 years, but I believe within the universe they've already explained that he's been missing since 2011 or 2012, so there's still some missing time that we don't know where he was. But number 8, she's there to buy their land for unspecified reasons. We find that something is crashing to Earth that she knew about, and that's really the reason why she bought it, because she wanted the rights to whatever wound up landing on that farmland. So they use a lot of this to let you know what her personality is, how she's super smart and shrewd, and she explains to them how she made her fortune. Then number 7 WTF was her threatening to destroy that baby that she created for them. Now if it wasn't clear, she used the egg that the woman had tested years ago to create the baby, so it really is biologically theirs. But also I think the idea that she owns all these biomedical sciences companies is clues to what's going on with Ozymandias and all the clones. So I definitely think that she has something to do with where he is and what he's doing. But more on that in a second when I talk about her daughter, because her daughter was a really interesting character during the episode that I think says a lot about what's going on with Ozymandias and the sciences that she said that she was involved in. Number 6, after another egg reference, they pay off the opening scene from the first episode with Angela's great-grandparents and her learning her true history. This is where you came from. But remember, she's from Vietnam, just like Lady Trio, so they haven't explained how her parents wound up in Vietnam and why she was born there and not in the United States. But technically, within this world, Vietnam is part of the United States, so maybe her parents just went to live there. But the whole idea is that she's tied in a much more significant way to the 1921 incident. It's very meaningful for her, but she still hates Will right now, despite the fact that she seems like she's caught up in something way bigger than she totally understands that has something to do with the Millennium Clock. Lori laughs about the car crashing down and they sort of sync the episode up with the end of last week's episode. No, that's my car, just totally fell out of the sky. It was weird that she didn't totally believe Lori right away. You'd think her mind would be a little bit more open, but they sort of pay that off later when Lady Trio secretly communicates with her about her grandfather. He's asking about his pills, tell him to go screw himself. My number 5 WTF was that weird breakfast conversation that they had about the chief not going to heaven because heaven supposedly doesn't exist. Now, I'm not a religious person, so I don't really mind if they're atheists or anything like that. I just thought it was weird in an episode that he would say that so directly to little kids. Oh, there's no heaven. He just went to nothingness. Normally, you don't see people do that with children in TV shows unless it's a really religious TV show, which this is not. But maybe he's just an atheist and that's why he was having that conversation with them. But number 4, time for the reckoning. So Angela finally comes clean to Looking Glass about the Chief's secret history, gives him his clan robes, and they're also going to analyze what's in Will's pills. Apparently they're really important. They're probably what's helping keeping him alive past the age of 100. Like, there were all the references in the earlier episodes about how he's this super old man. There's no way he could have killed the chief because he's in a wheelchair, yet somehow it seems kind of like he did. At least all the evidence points to him doing it. Number 3 was Lube Man. This was just hilarious. Like, what was he doing there? Why was he spying on her? Is he connected to Lady Trio? Or is he connected to the cavalry? Or is he just a regular vigilante and it's a who watches the Watchmen situation? Like, it's a joke about who watches the people that are watching us, because Angela is watching us all the time. There was also another weird moment between her and Senator Keene when he came back. He was acting kind of like an asshole, and it only hammers home my belief that he had something to do with setting up what happened at the funeral. Like, maybe this was all part of some agenda that he has that Angela and Lori sort of sidelined, and he's kind of pissed off at her about that. Lori gives us a whole bunch more details about Will. He was a cop in New York City in the 40s and 50s, then retired early. She also connects the dots between the wheelchair tire marks at Crawford's crime scene and Will being over 100 years old. He'd be in a wheelchair. Like, she totally knows what's going on and just hasn't said out loud yet. Number 2 was the scene of them explaining Lori's backstory in the car, the Dr. Manhattan references, and then the Millennium Clock explainer from Lady Trio's daughter. Is a thermodynamic miracle. My ex used to talk about him all the time. It's all connected, man. I loved how she kind of poked fun at Angela wearing a mask. Oh, I used to dress up and fight crime too. No, I wear a mask to hide. Yes, to hide from the pain. And if it wasn't clear, Petey in the back seat is the Petey from Peteypedia on HBO's website that has all those extra files and details and bonus material for the episodes. If you've seen the Watchmen movie or you read the original comic series, you already know her Silk Spectre backstory and how she found out about the comedian being her father. Based on the way she acted in last week's episode and all the references they made, it seems like she's kind of moved past that. She's using his last name now too, Laurie Blake. Blake is the last name of the comedian. Lady Trio's daughter also explains the purpose of the Millennium Clock and why it's located in Oklahoma of all places. Like, why here when you're a trillionaire, you could build it anywhere you want? She claims that it's just meant to be a clock, but, Doomsday Clock references what is the clock actually counting down to, what's going to happen in 3 days. But the reason why of all places in the world they built it in Oklahoma is because it's the safest place on planet Earth. Safest from nuclear attacks, safest from any kind of natural disaster. So if you thought it was weird that they would set the TV show in and around Tulsa, Oklahoma, that explains why. But they obviously haven't revealed the true purpose of the clock yet. Love the joke about Ozymandias' statue. Why did you make him look old? He looks like crap. Oh, we revere our elders in Vietnam where I come from. Well, here it just looks like crap. I also think they laid a lot of clues about what's going on with Lady Trio's daughter during a lot of these conversations too. But number 1, WTF, probably the biggest thing was Ozymandias using crab traps to fish for the baby clones that were growing in that pond. It looked kind of like a pond, but because it's at night, it's kind of hard to tell. He sticks them in his special machine that grows them to full adulthood in moments, kind of like microwaving a pizza. Then they sort of use the next couple of moments to explain where all the clones come from and what he's doing with them, and reveal that he's destroyed all the other clones. Sorry for the mess, I had a rough night. Then uses the dead ones to test the giant catapult, just reiterating the idea that he's within this special closed environment that someone's created to keep him in a prison, so to speak. When they zoom out on the spyglass and transition to Earth's moon, I think that's them implying that he's on the moon, not on Mars like I thought in last week's episode. But I did believe, just because of the way they came back frozen, that they were getting fired into orbit out of the atmosphere and that's why they were freezing. So I feel like that's them confirming that, but it still doesn't explain what deal he made with Lady Trio, because now I think that she's secretly connected to all those weird baby clones and him being stuck on the moon. I'm really starting to like the theory that Tom Masson, the clone that he's playing, is actually meant to be a clone of real Dr. Manhattan. Like, you have all these Dr. Manhattan clones that he's disposing of all over the place. Let's go fish another Manhattan baby out of the crab traps. But he's very careful to reiterate that he's not responsible for creating these clones, someone else is. And then at the end of the episode, when Lady Trio's daughter wakes up and tells the story about the nightmare that she had, which sounds like one of Lady Trio's memories from her childhood in Vietnam. Like, she's reliving real memories that Lady Trio or one of her ancestors had. When she said that she reveres her elders, I think the idea is that her daughter is secretly a clone either of her, Lady Trio, or maybe her mother or her grandmother, and that's why she's having those memories. It's like genetic memory that you pass down. But everyone, let me know in the comments, what is your theory about what's going on with the clock and what Lady Trio and Will's plan secretly is that's going to culminate in the next 3 days? There's so much big stuff happening this week too. Rick and Morty Season 4 Episode 1 is airing tonight. I'll do a video for that, it'll post Monday morning. Disney Plus is also launching on Tuesday, and The Mandalorian Episode 1 will be dropping then. I'll do a video for that too. So as long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those videos when I post them. While you wait for everything, click here for my Watchmen Episode 3 video, and click here for that brand new Rick and Morty Season 4 opening scene. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.